my protection.
Protection from what?
Koryuki.
We're gonna be in the new world in no time. This is exhilarating. Get excited.
Only thing I have to say about Fat Electrician is, buh, can't believe that y'all don't react to his videos more often. Buh. It's like, well, here's what I have to say to that. Have you seen the length of his videos here over the last few months? Look at this. Look at this. 47 minutes, 44 minutes, 40 minutes, 39 minutes. The most reasonable one was a 19-minute one, or 19-minute one that was released 2 months ago. But then before that, an hour and 10 minutes. And then, of course, you know, the secret weapon, you know, the VT Fuse, we reacted to that one, 23 minutes, 39 minutes. And then we reacted to the Simo Hawa one, which was awesome. And then, of course, you know, 47 minutes, 49 minutes, 45 minutes, 52 minutes.
One of the problems is that we're watching Invincible right now, and that's a longer show.
That's
so
a
it's eating into our time we have.
That's a huge time sink, especially because we got so much to say about it.
I noticed that this episode of Fat Electrician is only 7 minutes long.
Yes, the bazooka tank. Bazooka tank. Yes, arguably the most Marine Corps vehicle ever devised. I saw a little bit of this because someone sent me like a clip of it. It was like it was like a short that they sent me on stream, and I was like, huh, that one's interesting. And then I saw it was recommended in our request channel on Discord. I'm like, hey, I know that one. So here we are with the bazooka tank. So the bazooka tank, the M50 Ontos, the thing. Basically, this thing is just so Marine Corps it hurts, and I can't think of anyone else to portray that better than, you know, the chubby Electro Man himself. Who ain't that chubby. He's actually also if y'all haven't figured it out here recently, the Unsubscribed podcast, which he's a part of, alongside of Donut Operator, Brandon Herrera, and a few other people, basically they're getting absolutely like trunched right now by investigators because of a police officer came on there. It was a SVU detective from Buffalo, New York, and he basically was just getting, like, he basically just exposed the school system for, like, protecting pedophiles.
What?
Yeah.
And that's affecting their podcast?
Yes, because he went on there and he told the truth, and now, like, there's a bunch of people who are, like, saying, like, oh, what evidence did he bring? And then they did a second podcast with him, and he literally brought all the evidence he was legally able to show because they were like no longer active cases. And he showed a case after case after case after case that just was ignored. Nobody gave a crap about. And it's just like, and he said he's not doing this for personal gain. He's literally doing this just to protect kids. That's it. And they got in a lot of, like, there's some legal trouble, like some Buffalo, like people from Buffalo, like upper echelon people in Buffalo who are like trying to get them like to remove the episode. And I'm just like, if there's no problem, then why? If there's no problem, then
yeah, if you're trying to get them to remove the episode, you're outing yourself.
Exactly. So congratulations, you're playing yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that. I hate systems that protect pedos. I hate it. And if it's because of just like it will find you all liable for, you know, not protecting these kids, which is your job as like teachers and as like instructors of the, you know, from the paid by the state. That is your job. And if you aren't doing your job, then you deserve to be dealt with. Period.
Probably not doing their job because they're part of the problem.
I would say so too. But if you all are interested in that, feel free to check out the Unsubscribed podcast. All proceeds made from the episodes that the Angry Cop is on. That's the guy's name. Every episode that he's in, all all ad revenue from that video is going towards the youths in Buffalo, New York, who were affected by the shitty school system up there. But anyway, yeah. So I guess we got this queued up here, and I might as well get into it. Are you ready? Let's go.
I really thought that the Mark 19 was the most Marine Corps thing to ever be invented, but I was wrong because it's absolutely this. Today we're talking about the M50 Ontos, aka the Thing.
Look at all those barrels.
Damn. Looks like one of my Armored Core builds.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, this video is brought to you by Zydax Custom Gaming PCs. They're built right here in America with American tech support. They have a lifetime warranty, and they will do all kinds of crazy custom stuff if that's what you want. Here's a video of mine. Great, moving on. Okay, here's the deal. Once upon a time in the 1950s, the United States Army would set out to answer a question that had plagued mankind for decades. What if we took a tank and covered it in fucking bazookas? And to aid them in this enormous feat of engineering fuckery, they would turn to the one demographic of people on the planet that could do this insanely childish and dangerous idea justice: the farmers, by way of Alice Chalmer, a tractor manufacturing company. Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you that the grunts and the farmers are going to come together and work on a grunts and crafts project. All right, it's absolutely going to get done. It's not going to be fucking safe, but it's going to get done, and it's going to work. So they took the M56 light tank, ripped the turret off, threw that shit away, and then proceeded to weld on top 6 M40 106mm recoilless rifles.
Hey.
Yeah, technically they're not bazookas, they're recoilless rifles. There's a slight difference in how they function, but at the end of the day, as far as 99.9% of people need to be concerned, it's a giant metal tube that you point at the enemy to blow them the fuck up, aka it's a bazooka. Plus, bazooka tank sounds way cooler than recoilless rifle tanks, so that's what we're going with. Now, I think we can all agree that welding 6 of these on top of a single vehicle is mildly ridiculous in the best way possible. However, it only gets worse from here. Because why don't you go ahead and ask me how they aim this monstrosity? I mean, look at it. It's got 6 different barrels. None of them are anywhere near each other. Clearly, it's going to be a nightmare, if not impossible, to aim this thing accurately.
I would say the calibration on, like, making sure they're all, like, aimed unifyingly at, like, one point, central point would be very difficult. I would say, you know, basically be the same way where they had to aim back in the day, tracer rounds. Like, they would fire tracer rounds to, like, light up the path for, like, the person, like, the gunner to, like, aim at and fire.
Yeah, but that doesn't really work unless you're firing that as your first round out of the same gun. These are recoilless rifles that probably have to be reloaded after each shot, so... Well,
I'm sure you noticed what else was up there, too.
Yeah, but that's for a different purpose. My guess is you aim them by, there's literally a guy in the turret there that takes manual aim with them.
Maybe. I don't know. But look at that. Imagine seeing that sumbitch come over a hill and just be like, 1, 2, 3. That's way more than I was expecting.
Anywhere near each other. Clearly, it's going to be a nightmare, if not impossible, to aim this thing accurately, right? Wrong. The farmers and the grunts got together and said, we'll just use a spotting rifle. They then proceeded to mount a 50 caliber rifle on top of every single bazooka barrel, and then they would just fire
on top
50
of the
caliber
barrel
tracer
itself
rounds until they started hitting their desired target.
You just yelled over what he was saying.
Just fire 50 caliber tracer rounds until they started hitting their desired target.
No, I figured they had to use tracer rounds, but on top of the barrels itself?
Yeah, makes sense. Like I said, you can only fire the bazooka once. So then you have to reload it, so you can't use a tracer round unless something else is firing the tracer round.
I guess so, yeah.
Then they would fire the bazooka. They're literally aiming a giant gun with a slightly smaller giant gun. I don't even know how to begin to write a punchline for that, so I'm just going to go ahead and... I mean, could you imagine how confusing this would be to the enemy? Imagine you're some anonymous bad guy held up in a house or in a building somewhere, and this fucking monstrosity pulls around the corner as your butthole puckers, and you realize that this is probably going to be the longest, shortest day of your life, and your new pronouns are about to be here and over there. And then this thing aims at you, fires, and it blows a nice little hole in the wall next to you as you're like, I mean, it's not good, but it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. So the farmers finished up the prototypes and took it out to Aberdeen Proving Ground with the Army and the Marine Corps, at which point they promptly said, fire all 6 at once, we want to see what'll happen. And the sheer amount of backblast from that knocked bricks out of the wall of the bomb shelter they were in and shattered all the windows of the vehicles they used to get out there. And it is
Awesome.
Like I said, the most Marine Corps thing ever to friggin' exist. Oh my god.
at that point that the Army said they were no longer interested in having this vehicle due to the sheer amount of backblast, and they really did not like the fact that somebody had to get outside of the vehicle to individually reload each recoilless rifle after they had been fired. The Marine Corps, on the other hand, said, I'll take 300. The Marine Corps ordered 300 of these fucking things.
Why am I not
which
surprised?
is terrifying to think about. I mean, to be honest, and it pains me
God's devious little children back at it again.
to say this, but as far as logic goes, I actually have to side with the Marines on this one. The Army's over here bitching like, oh, you could get shot at while you're trying to reload. And the Marine Corps is like, we've been getting fucking shot at since 1775 without a bazooka tank. Imagine how much fun it's going to be with a bazooka tank. And I mean, to be fair, what the fuck is going to be left to shoot at you after you shoot the first 6 gigantic bazookas that general direction?
Yeah,
and even
exactly.
if somebody was still alive and they did have big enough balls to pop their head up to try to shoot at you while you're reloading, you still get to shoot at them with your...
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you could use your tracer, like, guns, but, like, you just drive away for a minute, reload, and come back, you know?
Yeah.
Spotting 50 caliber fucking rifles and the 1930 caliber machine gun on it. Like, it's just, it's a win-win. And I know what you're all thinking, but how did it perform in real life and not just on the chalkboard? Thank you so much for asking. It was first deployed in 1964 to the Dominican Republic during Operation Powerback, where it promptly destroyed both the tanks that they ran across, that being the AMX-13 and an L-60. And then after that issue was resolved, all 300 of them were promptly sent to Vietnam. Okay, here's the kicker with that. There was no established battle doctrine for this weapon. There's no rules, there's no standard operating procedures, and there was no Marine Corps MOS that was designated as being responsible for this weapon, meaning there's no one guy that's like the expert. They literally took 300 of these fucking monstrosities, gave them to the Marine Corps, and said, here's your bazooka chariot, kids, have fun. Shit got out of hand.
Hell yeah. Uh-oh, here comes the keyboard warrior.
You're so dumb. If you knew anything, you'd know that during the Vietnam War, the Viet Cong had virtually no tanks, meaning that a tank destroyer like this would be virtually useless. Yeah, not quite. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Beehive round, aka the Flechette round. Each one of these had 10,000 hardened steel darts inside of them, and when fired, they...
Lord.
Yes. It is just as bad as you think it is.
It's basically a ridiculous shrapnel bomb.
It went fucking everywhere. And this weapons platform can fire 6 of them at a time, meaning that this thing can turn and proceed to shoot 60,000 fucking nails in your general direction. Okay.
That's an imagine being the foreman on that arts and craft project. Be like, where you need, how many nails you need? 10,000? All right, fire one up there. Just 10,000 nails in the wall. Be like, is that good enough? Yeah, that's fine. You could have waited until it wasn't here.
There's no walls anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, when the trees started talking, they weren't talking for very long. The Ontos was so dominant on the battlefield that the enemy began actively avoiding it, meaning that the Marine Corps loved it because when this thing was anywhere near them, they were very seldom, if ever, ambushed. And not only was the Ontos effective in jungle warfare, but urban warfare as well. During the Tet Offensive at the Battle of Hue, which is one of the only examples of heavy urban...
You know what that probably means, right? Like, they probably had, like, a group of Viet Cong at one point, like, in the woods, and they tried to ambush them. That thing turned and shot into the woods, and one guy, probably somehow by the grace of God, survived but lost like a limb or something, and watched every single one of his buddies get torn into like a bloody pulp.
Yeah.
And probably ran away and told everybody not to fuck with that tank ever.
Yeah. Once again, Vietnam, huge clusterfuck in every regard. And if you ask me, instead of fighting a war of attrition, which is what basically they were told to fight, we should have fought an objective-based war. If we would have fought an objective-based war, we would have took Ho Chi Minh City within 3 years of landing there initially.
It sounds to me like they should have sent in more bazooka tanks.
Exactly. They had 300 of them bitches, send them all. Also, not only that, but the bombardment of Ho Chi Minh City is what led to the original ceasefire that stopped the Vietnam War. And it was only after the U.S. left in 1973 and the South Vietnamese, which were headed up by a bunch of nutless monkeys who couldn't understand like how a hammer and nail worked, let alone how to run a like military offensive. And 2 years later, Ho Chi Minh City, like South Vietnam fell. But yeah, anyway.
In combat to happen during the Vietnam War, the Ontos would prove absolutely dominant. Not only was it highly effective against fortified enemy positions, but it was extremely effective at convincing enemies to evacuate buildings. You see, at this point in time, the enemy was already intimately acquainted with the Ontos and knew how it operated, so all the Marines had to do to get an entire building to clear out was shoot the 50 caliber spotting rifle through the window a couple times, and all of the enemies would, and I quote, scurry out of the building like rats when you turn the lights on, because they knew what was going to come next after that 50 caliber round. Unfortunately, the original 300 M50 Ontoses would be the only ones ever created, and after the Vietnam War, the remaining ones would all be turned over to the US Army, where they would be decommissioned, stripped down, and sold off to construction companies as tracked vehicles. Luckily, however, some of them did make their way into museums where their legacy is still preserved today. In conclusion, in the 1950s, a bunch of farmers and the United States Marine Corps came together to work on a grunts and crafts project, and what they created was so childish, so ridiculous, and so devastatingly effective that it could only be characterized as the thing. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out. I wonder if I can fit a bazooka tank in here.
It's big enough. You might be able to there. Gosh. So yeah.
That's pretty dope.
That was dope. Oh. So yeah, the bazooka tank. Is it bad to say that I want one?
No.
Of course, that's impossible, but still, I think that'd be pretty interesting. So yeah, the bazooka tank, the M50 Ontos, the thing, definitely a machine of war I would not want to mess with, no matter what era. I mean, it can literally fire rounds that can turn you into Swiss cheese.
I just want a video game where you can drive one of those. It'd be neat.
Dude, could you imagine a World of Tanks, like if they put that in World of Tanks, or like anything really? Dude, I would be firing those like shrapnel rounds like nobody's business. I would literally be turning buildings into I would make new ventilation shafts in that bitch.
It would be funny to see the same effect that he described there, like happen in a game like Battlefield. Like you just have one of those tanks, you're driving by a building, you shoot one of the tracer rounds into the windows, and then you see like 5 guys just like run out, like oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Like oh crap, 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 crap. Yeah. That'd be funny as hell. So yeah, that was the Fat Electrician. If you want to see more from the Fat Electrician, aka Nick, not that Nick, but this Nick, yeah, if you want to see more from him, feel free to click his channel name up here, Fat Electrician. We always love his work, and if you want to see more from us, there's a subscribe button right here on the screen. Should be like right where my hand is, and in front of me is probably our Curse of Strahd playthrough. Maybe another playlist. I don't know. I switch it up from time to time. And over there in front of Nick is another random video. And, ooh, I don't know why they're recommending that. Ugh. Anywho, till next time, everyone. I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Be good people. Take care. Peace.